It's Monday, Tuesday, people.
Yay.
We might have to move
the microphone.
I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but hello. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Well, geez.
It's Monday.
Hi. I at least try to fake it. No, I'm kidding. We both do. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Trying to Be Cold Again, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
I realized when I packed up my stuff today, I'm getting all loaded up and I'm like, where's my coat? It's still in the car.
Well,
because on Saturday it was a just in case thing. Yeah. And I forgot to bring it inside. So I didn't freeze. It's not that cold out, but it's trying.
It will be this weekend.
So I should try to finish this for this weekend is what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's what I'm doing now.
So look, it's a sweater. I hadn't even started, I think, when we were filming last. No. Because I think I started this
Thursday or Friday afternoon.
The end of the day Thursday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And ta-da! It's not done. It is not going to be a crop. It's on barber cords. It's on light blue barber cords. Can you see them? Everything's on a barber cord right now because it's just easier than accidentally having it slip off the needles if only half of it was on the barber cords. So yeah. Ta-da! I want to say I picked colors. Let's see half my face. I picked colors for this after we filmed on Thursday. I might have been thinking about it on Wednesday because we did the whole like, yay, La Pampa is the yarn of the week, or one of the yarns products of the week. So this thing has been calling my potential name since the La Pampa came in. We still have 2 copies of this pattern, by the way. This is the Arabella Pullover. And I did a gauge swatch just with one color. I did it flat instead of in the round. I cheated and my gauge was pretty much on. So I was like, I'm doing it. I'm not changing for the color work. We'll just see what happens. But of the colors that we have in stock, I really love this acorn color. So I was like,
you've had your eye on the acorn since it came in.
And then when the ocean came in, which it didn't come in at first, it was like, oh, we missed that there's blue in the palette. Because it's like, there's no blue. This is weird. I didn't scroll down enough. So this color, and then my 4 contrasts are these colors. Look at that ocean. And it's chunky yarn on a size 10.5 needle. I actually got gauge on the needle it's written for, which is a kind of a miracle. And look how much I got done because it was just so fun. I mean, I will say, and fast. Yes, I will say there are parts in here, like where these light dots are, there are the whole inside diamond of these 3 diamonds has at least 3, if not 4 colors going in one row, which is unusual for stranded color work. Usually stranded color work tries to keep it as simple as possible. So, and there was a lot of locking down because even three stitches apart, we talked about locking floats, right? Like maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Even 3 stitches apart starts to feel long when the stitches are this chonky. So I had to get creative. But the other thing, I figured I'd get this one out of the way and then we can turn over to your stuff list. But it's been kind of fun because like the second skein of the acorn hit, like once I'd already finished the yoke color work. And so I just knit my butt off. I hand wound it because I was stuck downstairs. I wasn't stuck. I just really didn't feel like going upstairs to wind the ball of yarn. So I hand wound one of these. And I just went until it was done. And now we'll see if it stalls out. I really would like to finish this one. It'd be really fun if I could finish it before it gets cold again this weekend. We'll see. It said 1 skein of these 2 colors, which are just used in little itty bitty places. I have tons of this left. tons of this. Can you grab one of the scales? They're both right there. The top one, I think, was the one you were just using this morning. So it did only use the one skein that it said. And in fact, I'm not breathing on it, and it's at 5 grams. Hang on. I have 94 grams left of this one, of what supposedly started as 100 grams. And I have 92 left of this one. Shout out to Carol. She was saying that, you know, I got enough here for a colorwork hat, which is very true. What's interesting, so it said it took 2 skeins of this color, and it did. This is the second skein, and it feels a little hollow. I am at 69 grams. So I used 140 grams, no, 130 grams for the blue up here. Still have some left over from the second skein. It said I was gonna need 2 skeins of this, of the rose water, which you can see how much the rose water is in here. It is the charcoal gray on this. And I thought that was a bit odd, but I was like, okay. You know, it said anything over the smallest size is going to need that. This is how much I still have left of my first skein. So if anyone wants to be adventurous and try this, I still have over half of this skein. You probably, and I'm doing like the, I think I'm doing one of the middle sizes. I'm not doing the biggest size. It's not super size inclusive. It only goes up to 50 3/4 inches bust size. I think I'm doing the 46 right now. I'm doing it to be a little snug because I'm about a 43, 44 here. So there's only a little bit of room here, but I think it has a pleasant shaping to it to not go too big. Yeah. On the, on the positive ease, the extra room there. So I'm doing the middle size. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm doing the extra large size. It goes from small to 3X. I mean, that's something we might want to talk about on Thursday, is about like sizing of garments. Because we had someone walk in last week who's like, well, he wears a large. And it's like, that doesn't necessarily correspond to sizes in the sweater world, how they're written. Anyway, I digress on that. We'll hang on to that for Thursday if we need something to talk about. And we remember. Okay. So I'm doing the 46 3/4 size, which is the extra large, but it's saying like in here, whoever graded this, like, and scaled it up and down, thought that you would need, for this color, you would need 2 skeins for anything over a small size. And I'm like, anyway, so it said I would need 6 skeins of this, and 2 skeins has gotten me this much of the sweater. So stay tuned. If I do some semi-monogamous knitting, we might find out, at least by next week, how many of these I needed. But if you want to be adventurous and try this with all the fun color work, a little bit of a challenge, but not for very long, and really fast progress on this guy. You're only, I would say, short of the biggest size, I don't think you need a second skein of color D, which was this one for me. So just know that. And I've offered that as long as we have patterns in stock, if you buy enough yarn for the whole sweater, we will throw in the pattern for free. We have a couple of them left. So that's my saga on this thing. It is so comfortable right now, especially like people are like, wool is itchy. I mean, there's no short rows in this. So the neck is pretty high. And I won't say this little part is not itchy, or it's not going to, is going to be absolutely super soft against your skin. But this is a very comfortable sweater right now. So especially because it's not on my skin.
Cozy.
Even here, I think it will be cozy enough because it is organic merino. It is squishy. It's just not cashmere. So, you know, and I am digging these colors. They look a lot darker on screen right now than they are, than the darker parts are, but it's super cool. It's not the only thing I worked on this weekend. However, I'm going to share my time with Liz. So what did you do this weekend, Liz?
Well, I want to say it was Thursday, about the same time you started yours because she finally got it in the system.
Actually, you took it just before I put it in the system, but we knew you'd pay for it that day. So, I think.
Yeah. I started a Hap Shawl and I am to 110 stitches across.
And what are you making that Hap Shawl out of?
I am making this Hap Shawl out of Mayu Lace.
New color. We got in 3 new
red.
colors. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. I can't promise, but that will be in conjunction with other things I want to talk about. So
I
may or may not talk about it today.
I've already picked my palette, but red is I'm all excited. I lusted after it for like days and days.
Such a long time. Because
it came in. I'd walk in and just pet the bag. It's so pretty.
Maybe it came in like a week and a half ago. Yeah. I kind of got it for her. So if anyone else wants some red Mayu Lace, which is cashmere, merino, and silk, right?
Yeah.
It's lovely. Like I said, we might talk about it tomorrow to give you a little discount on what we have. It's wonderful. You're double stranding it, right?
I'm double stranding it.
So technically it maybe is kind of sort of behaving as
fingering weight.
As fingering weight. I did a whole shawl doing that. If I remember, I'll bring it in for tomorrow. But it's what I made, I can vouch, is so squishy.
So because Hap Shawls are supposed to be done really like on a way bigger gauge. The pattern I'm using called for an 8 with fingering weight. I bumped it
but
up.
Liz,
to a 10.5.
That's what I'm knitting on too.
For some reason, I thought it was just a straight up 10. No, it's a 10.5, which is fine because when you get done with that, like you build your triangle and then there's a feather and fan kind of lace thing all the way around it. And then you go and do an applied lace thing. I'm going to die. Don't worry. I'll be whiny and complaining about it later. But
so you do a feather and fan border, and then applied lace would imply like you add it, you sew it on, or you pick up stitches or something.
It's you knit 8 stitches on a double point and like connect it as
it like goes like this along the edge.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, gorgeous, beautiful, worth it, but
gonna die.
Yeah.
And I will be whiny and complaining about it just so everybody knows. But
they've watched us enough. They should be, well, should hopefully. So if not, welcome to the sideshow. Okay.
So I started that as a new project. And I was doing 2 at a time sweaters because
and explain what that means.
I was doing a round of one and a round of the next,
because they were the same
round of the next, same pattern, same spot, same life. And I started noticing.
Then
I started noticing this past week that it's gonna be cold on Saturday. Like the temperature keeps bouncing. It like this week's supposed to be in the mid 60s, and by Saturday we're supposed to be in like. It goes between the low 40s to the mid 40s to the low 40s, and for a high on Saturday.
Someone in the Western North Carolina Yarn Call meeting yesterday mentioned snow.
Yes.
Maybe not for us.
They've put snow in our forecast. So this sweater here, my blue one.
I'll finish this one.
Because it is a strand of a llama, a strand of regular merino, and mohair. I'm only going to have like one chance to wear it before, or at least I know I'm
one
going to have this chance
comfortably wear it. Like you could wear it and just die.
There will probably be another chance, but
one known quantity in the equation.
I know I can wear it this weekend and not die. So Friday night I got the sleeve separation done. Saturday I got Sunday I got almost all of the hem bound off, finished binding it off yesterday. And
because it's nice and short.
And I did the collar. So
look at us both knitting like mad on sweaters.
I have to just finish like 14 inches of sleeves, which 3 rows per inch because of the size needles I'm doing. I'm getting 3 rows an inch on this too, and it's like
like this should be torso hell, but because I'm making progress so quickly, it's like,
it's like, let me see how many rows I can do in an hour.
Right? Let's see how far I can get.
Oh, let me do another hour.
This is like 8 inches already.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's so fast.
Make a chunky sweater.
Yeah. But because
we'll talk about later.
Because I needed needles to work on 2 at a time sleeves.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
That's
on barber
got
cords?
This to sleeve separation, and it's all on barber cords.
Look at you go. That looks super big and roomy.
They're all the same size, so.
But super big and roomy because you like them that way.
It's gonna be awesome. So
yay, sweaters.
There's probably a good 5+ inches of positive ease.
I like those colors.
I know, it is just
like, that's one of the new Noros that like I didn't realize there was kind of a hint of pink in there.
There is this gorgeous rosy pink.
Yeah.
And bits and pieces of it look like it has a nice green. There's yellows. Because I'm not a yellow person, but the yellows actually play really, really well with it.
That's what Nora's known for, is like the colors, sometimes you're like, that's really random, and then you see it knit up and go, oh.
And my Hap Shawl is kind of based on this because I'm mixing the pinks.
Okay.
Like,
you have plans for pinks as it gets bigger.
And grays, yeah.
You want the whole center to be red.
The whole center is going to be red, and then the rest of it, I'm going to have 2 tones of gray and 2 pinks.
So whatever's left of our Mayu lace might be on sale tomorrow. But like everything's intertwined right now because like I want to start a new knit-along. I have other things to talk about. We'll see if there's time. So not a thing. I haven't finished. Okay, I should show you the current knit-along and my progress on it and stuff. But because we're talking about sweaters and Mayu lace and all that lovely stuff and making quick progress on a sweater, we I want to say, who was it? Stephanie might have been the one who suggested this on Knit Night of like, hey, if you wanted to do a ranunculus knit-along, I'd be in. She's already made one. The ranunculus is one that, and in a second, I'm going to go grab it, that you can make over and over again, kind of like the Papillon, because you can change things about it and have it kind of be a different sweater. But I call the ranunculus like the miracle sweater because I've seen so many people do it without even gauge swatching, and it works. It's a little intimidating, like not intimidating. That's not the right word. Cause that is like, I'm not going to do it.
I think of it as freeing.
Yes. It's nerve wracking for me a little bit to dive into a sweater, not having done a gauge swatch, and you can do a gauge swatch, but it's almost guaranteed. Like this will be, if I say it's guaranteed, it will fail for someone. So it's almost guaranteed that you can just start it on a size 10 needle with a random yarn and it will work. I'm going to go grab it. So that's why we want to do it as a knit along, because it might look like there's some fanciness to it, but it's really a really straightforward knit. Like there's a few things that it's like, what, but just do it and it'll work. And if it's your first top that you've ever made, you're guaranteed a good amount of success with it. It was
one of my first sweaters. It was my first play with short rows. I've done 2.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
They're addictive.
You can make it again and again and again. And so some people who might have already made it might want to do it with us again. Like this is mine. It's designed to have a lot of positive ease in it. Which just means lots of room. This doesn't show up well on camera because it's a really dark color, but I might swap out with what I'm wearing right now. But knit it on a 10 needle. Like you can do short sleeves, you can do a short length, you can lengthen it. It'll change how much yarn you need. But if you do the short sleeve version with a crop, you may not need much yarn.
I think Amanda and I, because we were discussing, like I put a little bit of sleeves on mine and my crop, and it takes right around 800 yards. Mm-hmm. And Amanda does short sleeves and a little, bit more of a crop than, or not crop, but a little bit longer than my
so
crop.
I know where the back
and
is.
Hers takes about 800 yards.
And she's larger than you. So, like 800 is a good thing to factor on. Like the Ravelry listing for this says anywhere between 400 to 1,000 yards of yarn for all different sizes. Like this is the crop version. When I first did this, see, it's got some lace work up here. Don't be intimidated by that. It's fun. She's got lots of videos. She actually has some short row shaping, both front and back, in the current version of the pattern to give it a nice look. There's different ways to do the collar. If you want to do the short sleeve, it's simply bind off. It can be a nice kind of overthrow. It's simply bind off. You don't even have to do a sleeve separation with sleeves on stitch holders. If you don't want to, if you're like that's too much for me, then you can do the short sleeve version like this, where it just rolls a little. It's just bound off. You can do all kinds of different lengths. You can pick different yarns for it. Like this was the Alba by Jody Long, which is kind of like Rowan felted tweed. And so it's kind of like a sport weight. So I'm calling it a DK, but I would say I did it sport weight on a size 10.5 needle. Liz, you've done a sport weight.
I did a sport weight on an 11.
Mm-hmm. She's gone up, but it's written for 10.
My original.
No, actually it's on 10, not 10.5. I'm just saying 10.5 because everything else we've seen. I did this on a 10.
My first one was lace weight silk on a 10.
And I want to do a lace weight one with the knit along, but you can do anything from a lace weight will just be gauzy on a 10. Oh my gosh. I want to do a Mayu Lace, not red. I picked another color for my knit along. You can go anywhere from a lace weight up to a worsted on a 10. It's what it's designed for. They should all come out the same size, but they will drape differently. They will feel differently. And when I say the same size, if you pick one of the sizes, there are a bunch of sizes. It goes from, I was writing in the newsletter last night. It goes from like, I think the smallest is like a 46-inch bust, but it's like, that's finished size, not, it's meant to have a lot of positive ease in it. If you're like, that's huge, then you can always go down needle sizes from the smallest size if you wanted a little more form fitting, but it's not really designed to be form fitting. It's designed to be to
positive
just have
ease heaven.
It goes all the way up to 70 inches. So you pick the size that you are interested in. She shifted it from like, well, for this bust size, do this. And this, she just has it open-ended. It's 15 pages now, the pattern. It, depending on the exchange rate, it's just under $6.50 for the pattern. We can help you get it. We may have to charge you to print it because that's more than our usual print load. But I'm getting ahead of myself a little because I'm just kind of excited about this. I'm still planning to finish my Echo Point, but I want to start this in April. I'm thinking we kick this off at the beginning of April for a new knit along, because and this is just a fun one because you can do it out of almost any fiber. I've seen it done out of inexpensive, like variegated cotton. I've seen it done out of silk. Like I'm going to do it out of the Mayu Lace, which is a silk blend. I've seen it done on chunkier yarns and it all looks awesome. Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. And I'm really hoping that we can all, like, I've already made I've had enough of my coffee. I almost just knocked it over. So my words are stumbling here a little bit. I've already made a knit along page on Facebook for Sun Dragon, just for in general. And so if you haven't joined it already, this could be a good time if you're interested in the ranunculus. We'll start feeding posts there about the ranunculus, and that's a really great place to get help. Now, joining the knit along does not guarantee free help at the shop. I want to be really clear about that. It's like, if we can, we'll offer advice, but it might be you want to sign up for an actual lesson.
But lots of people, you can post a question and people,
that's what the Facebook group's for.
Can all give ideas, or
because we get bogged down.
We did it.
We get bogged down pretty quickly if everyone comes at us with questions. But if you head on over to Facebook, I want it to be the same as the butterfly knit along group that exists. Of this will be for Sun Dragon knit alongs in general. And when you have questions, post them there. And the more people that join and are doing it, the more we can all help each other out. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm announcing it now. So you have just under a month to get ready. And March is a super long month. You still have about 4 weeks to get ready and think about what you want and how much you want. And we're here to help you with that. I'm hoping I can pull off a lace version, the Mayu Lace version with maybe only 2 skeins. This took a skein and a half of the Alba. It's a totally different yarn, but the Mayu Lace is over 400 yards per skein for 50 grams because it's super thin stuff. And I'm just like, oh, won't this be fun? I may change my mind when I'm making it, but I think it will be fun.
I think it will be perfect.
I've used Mayu Lace double stranded. I really want to just one strand on a 10. It will be the perfect thing to throw over a work shirt. I mean, I'm sure it's better if I don't have a big, huge sun dragon bleeding through, but to throw over a work shirt, even in the summertime, it is, the fibers in the Mayu Lace are such that it will be warm, but it will let air circulate. So, I will test it up for y'all. So speaking of testing, I'm realizing now, like, as much as I get grumpy when my customers come in and say, do you have this color knit up? No, we can't afford to have every single color knit up. But I'm realizing where they're coming from when I see the sweater you're making with the Noro knit up. It just looks so different than it does in the skein. And sometimes making that leap from what it looks like in the skein, like Noro Ito would be a wonderful thing to make the ranunculus out of if you're going for a winter sweater. If you want a thick sweater.
I would need 2 balls.
Mm-hmm.
Because
everybody just needs 2 balls. Doesn't matter how much grammage is in the ball. Just because it's 400 grams for 2 balls.
Yeah, it's about 800 meters, just over 800 yards. I know for my crop sweaters, even with long sleeves, I need about 800 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So with the ranunculus, my 2 that I have, I did like half sleeves and then did some crocheted edging on the bottom of them, and they're actually a little longer than my normal sweaters. Well, the crochet eats
up more yarn too.
But I don't do the short sleeves, but I still know that 800 yards. So 2 skeins of fingering weight or the equivalent will get me a ranunculus or whatever.
In theory, the ranunculus should take less yardage than a regular sweater of the same size, girth, what have you, because you're knitting on those bigger needles and it's getting you further. So in theory, whereas like for a sweater like this, if I was doing it on a smaller needle, I'd say I'd need 1,000 yards. This one I needed less than 800. I probably only used about 600 or so, but I also did the super cropped version of it. We can totally field questions as that goes. I mean, chuck those at us for the Dear Becky and Lizzie if you have them. Reminder, if you want to get a question on a Thursday, you're going to email
Liz@sundragon or andfiber.com.
We're gonna run out of time soon. So as much as I'm super excited about the ranunculus, I want to keep talking about it. We've got time. We've got like 4 weeks. I'll try to chuck it in on like as often as I can that we're doing it. I have other things I worked on this weekend, so I'm going to see if I can show them off rather quickly. Just yesterday and this morning, I finally got back to my Echo Point, which is the current knit along, which a lot of people have finished and a lot of people are still working on. Mine has been slept on by the cat so many times I had to fix a bunch of spots that had tugs and pulls. And some of them were only like single ply pulls. And so I'm just trying not to freak out about that. But I'm finally in section 7, just starting. It's getting the Pebble Beach back in there.
I need to get back to
see that on the side. Yeah, you kind of stalled out because you were experimenting though too.
Yeah.
So I need to get back mine is gonna be. Some people were like, "This wasn't as big as I thought it was gonna be." Mine's coming out a pretty decent size for me. And it's gonna have. I'm back to color B. This Pebble Beach is color B, which is up here. The only color I need to get back to is my denim. It's already bigger than the 60-inch cords that I'm knitting it on, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm not worrying about connecting cords and trying to make it longer. I'm just going to keep going. It's getting long. It's getting harder to finish rows because it's getting pretty long. I may or may not finish this before April. I would have a noble goal of trying to get it done before April, but I have so many projects going. But the idea with the knit-alongs is not to finish with deadline knitting. I'm not a fan of deadline knitting. So I'll finish it when I finish it, you know. And we made kits for the Echo Point. I don't know if we're going to do kits because it's so variable in size for the ranunculus, but we will keep making suggestions on this show, and we will suggest how much yarn if you like a certain yarn for the ranunculus, here's how much you would need. We'll keep suggesting that. And
kits for like a color changing project we tend to focus on more than, hey, you need so many yards of one color.
Mm-hmm. Like I might post some things for the ranunculus since it's a knit along. I might post some options, but it really is, you're not limited to those. If you see a color online or a yarn online or something, as long as it is a worsted weight or thinner, we can help you figure out how much you need. If you're not sure, we can help you do that. You're not limited in what you can use for this project. This guy that I was wearing earlier, I wouldn't necessarily make the ranunculus out of this. You could, but it's gonna get a little chunkier. You know, I'm holding this the wrong way. You technically could. Some of the lace work wouldn't show up as well, and it definitely wouldn't drape very well. But the worsted weight versions I've seen of it are not intended to drape. They're just intended to look pretty. I would just go a little thinner than this, but I'm not going to tell you no. Now, if you tried to make it out of a super bulky, I'd say, have fun. I don't know what's going to happen.
I thought last night, and I just remembered, I know what I'm going to make my ranunculus out of.
What's that?
Do
you want to tell us?
Yeah. I'm going to do it out of the Puno. Ooh. Because there's 800 meters.
The Puno,
the Lang.
Oh, my brain didn't catch up. I'm thinking of mono and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be gorgeous.
It's a fingering weight gradient. There's like 3 colors in the gradient, so it's not, but it's silk, merino, alpaca. So it's very close to the Mayu Lace. It's just awesome to play with, but it'll fade into, different colors. And
that would be pretty.
I was just, while you were talking, was thinking it's $85 a ball, but if you did
one of them,
but one ball, if you did 2 balls of the Ito, it actually costs more. Mm-hmm. So, depending on what,
that's awesome. Yeah. And if you did the short sleeve version where you're just binding off, then you will get the total color fade.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted the sleeves when you pick them back up again to match, then you figure it out. Yeah. You have to do some color manipulation. We have like less than 5 minutes. So
sorry.
Not your fault. And you don't have to pause. I'm just going to berate her on television. Why not? Because we still call this television. I don't know. I am a Gen Xer. The Harkness family just did a thing on being Gen X. And yes, there's going to be certain lingo that other people are going to be like, huh? Whatever. So I am nowhere near done with clue 2 of the Princess Bride knit along, and clue 3 dropped today, but that's life because I was making a sweater. So here is so far, I'm attached to only one color right now, but it goes back and forth between garter and stockinette. So it is, it wants to like wibble and wobble, but what I've gotten done of clue 2 is the streaking eels up top. These are my little streaking eels, and I'm starting an extra spot, and it says clue 3 is longer. So I'm going to try to catch up, and then slow down again. But this has been really, really fun. The As You Wish and Inconceivable mystery knit along has been really, really fun, and I'm really enjoying it.
I'm really liking that. That is cool.
And the colors are fun, and oh my gosh. I also wanted to show, and I think this is enough to show off today, how my wedding blanket is coming along for my cousin. And I'm actually into the 3rd color already on this, and it really, I'm not going to stretch it out. I'm going to stretch one section out. But I started with light gray and charcoal down here. Like every time I run out of 2 balls of yarn, I'm changing one color and keeping one color consistent. I actually like started to second guess myself. I was like, what if I keep one color consistent through the whole blanket? That'd be amazing. It's not what I have the yarn for. So it's not what I'm doing. But here it's smoke heather and charcoal. And then up here it is smoke heather. And I think it's smoke blue up here. So this is how, and this is the Together Again blanket from Tin Can Knits. And just using different knits and pearls, you get these little diagonal polygons, you know, quadrilaterals in here that are just super cute and reversible. So this is the reason other things are not making progress, is I'm making progress on some big projects right now. And we shall just see. So if I'm not showing off a project, you're like, well, how's this one going? It's probably in timeout and nothing has happened to it since you've last seen it. That's just life. So
that wouldn't ever be a thing.
No, never. That's not a thing. Not at all. So get excited about the ranunculus. If you haven't tried a top, this is one to try. And even there's different ways to do this collar. Even there's a little more complex and a little simpler. There's so many options for this. It's just wonderful. We're going to start in April. That gives you a month to think about what yarn you want to use. And we may put some combos up online. But they will be suggestions and you're not limited to them. So, and that's going to take us a while to get going anyway, like just life, you know. So thank you for joining us. I think we got to go. We got to open the shop just in case someone is coming by for stuff today. March is a weird time for a yarn shop because it's not quite winter and it's not quite summer and spring and people sometimes don't know what to do. So let us help you figure that out. Anyway,
like, subscribe, ring the bell, Patreon, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, we are closing in on 740 subscribers. We're almost there. Our goal is to get up to fuzzies. Our goal is to get up to 800 to give you another sale. Oh, and so if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It's no cost to you. If you'd like to monetarily support us, you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/sundragon, and give us a money thumbs up for all the work that we do. But at least like this video, you know, let the algorithms know they should be suggesting it to more people. And here comes a customer. So bye.